Good morning, guys. Aaron Dorr here with the New York State Firearms Association with an update for you guys on Governor Cuomo's war against gun owners, specifically those of you who build or own a kit, an 80% lower firearm. We're going to discuss that bill, get a lot of questions on our Facebook page about it. And so we're going to take a break on our Stand Your Ground and talk about this instead. We're going to get a watch party going first, and then we're going to kick off this broadcast. If you guys give me a sound check, I'd appreciate knowing if you can hear me okay. The weather sucks. It just sucks, so it's really windy. I hope you guys can hear me okay. I'm going to wait until our watch party gets going, and then we're going to do a sound check, and then we're going to begin this broadcast. So guys, check in. Let me know where you're watching from. Your comments help the video to be seen by more people. That's always our goal. Get more gun owners involved in this fight. So let me know where you're watching from in the comments section. And again, somebody let me know if you can hear me okay, if the audio is good to go. And once these numbers kick off, then we will get this going here. Paul says, sounds good. Thank you, Paul. Madeline, be sure and put the copy in the regular video also, not just the watch party. I couldn't do that as I'm driving right now. So, all right, Paul says my sound check is good. The watch party is getting going as I'm speaking. And once it picks up here, we're going to begin this broadcast. So everybody knows, we all know what an utter failure gun control has been proven to be in this state and across the country. We know that background checks haven't stopped almost anybody. We know that almost every single mass shooter in the last decade first passed a background check. So background checks have been proven to be absolutely irrelevant when it comes to stopping criminals. We know that gun-free zones have been absolutely disproven to stop any criminals. All they do, in fact, is invite criminals. It simply invites madmen to target these so-called gun-free zones because nobody can fight back in those areas. We know the SAFE Act was utter bullshit and hasn't stopped criminals. In fact, I was reviewing some of the crime numbers yesterday, and with a state lawmaker in the Capitol, and we were reviewing the numbers on violent crime, and the number of rapes in New York State since the passage of the SAFE Act has increased by 250% in New York State. A 250% increase in the number of rapes in New York State since they passed the SAFE Act. So all of this stuff that our America-hating, incompetent boob of a governor says is going to stop crime, we all know it's false and complete bullcrap. And so the bill he's proposing now, the push that they're making now in Albany, is going to be more of the same. It won't do a damn thing to stop criminals. All it's going to do is make criminals out of you and criminals out of all the gun owners in the state who build firearms off of an 80% lower. So we're going to discuss that here in a moment once I get past this stopped car with a flat tire. At least I got some help out there. So there are at least 3 different bills right now on the move when it comes to banning 80% lowers. And let's just be very clear on this. All of them seek to make you a criminal. They want to make you a criminal. They want to put you in prison. The bill we have that I want to discuss mostly, and I can't read it off. I've got it here, but I can't. I'm driving right now, so I can't read it to you. But I do at least get to the bill number. Give me 1 second here. This is from Assemblyman Ortiz, one of the most crazy people in the entire building, which is saying something. Assemblyman Ortiz, this is Assembly Bill 3152. This bill will make you a criminal unless you have your 80% lower firearm or the receiver taken to an FFL or law enforcement and registered with the state. It is going to absolutely criminalize your ability to build any firearms using an 80% lower receiver. If you're not 100% sure what we're talking about, guys, the 80% lowers They're available now in all kinds of different firearms. It used to be only the AR-15, and it's gone a long ways in the last 10 years. You can do a lower receiver, 80% lower on a Ruger 10/22. You can do it on a Glock. You can do it on the Colt 1911. There is countless iterations of that when it comes to the Colt 1911. There's all kinds of different 80% lowers that you can buy, and what that means, again, if you're not sure what we're talking about, is the receiver, the lower receiver, is a solid block of material, aluminum, metal, what have you, and you have to then use there's all kinds of machines. CNC machine is probably the highest grade of technology. Routers on down to even less than that, but it requires some tools, it requires some skills, and it requires some knowledge to take this solid block of aluminum or solid block of metal and form that into a functioning receiver for your firearm. It's done all the time by guys that like to make project guns, and by hobbyists, and by guys who have a natural inclination to work with their hands like that and make firearms. But if you listen to Governor Cuomo, and if you listen to Senator Kaplan, you listen to Assemblyman Ortiz, and all the rest of these yahoos, they would have us believe that there are whole factories of violent criminals in New York State who are sitting around in their mother's basement snorting meth and making large quantities of 80% lower firearms. The idea is just asinine. It's absolutely absurd. In most cases, you have to have an RPM speed on your equipment of 25 to 30,000 RPMs to make this work. It requires some ability. It requires some precision. It requires focus. And I'm sorry, but violent dirtbag criminals in New York State don't have it. If they did, they'd have a job, right? And so they would have us believe that there's this huge growing subculture of violent, dangerous criminals who are making and producing 80% lowers. That's absolutely asinine. Absolutely asinine. Can they find an example where there's a criminal who's been arrested or has used a firearm, an 80% firearm, in his possession? Did he use it during the crime? Can they find examples like that? Sure. But they can find examples right now of criminals who carry out their criminal actions with a high-capacity magazine, which are already illegal in New York State, or an AR-15, which are in most cases illegal in New York State. So just because some criminal stole an 80% lower firearm or got it from a fellow criminal or whatever else has nothing to do with actual crime rates. It's because they're criminals and they break the law and get their guns any way they freaking want to. This bill, to be clear, would do nothing to stop violent crime. It would do nothing to stop violent crime. But you know what? That's never been its agenda. That's never been the agenda of Senator Kaplan or Assemblyman Ortiz or anybody else in the America-hating Cuomo conference in Albany. They don't care about crime rates. They care about trying to destroy our way of life and to obliterate our God-given, constitutionally guaranteed right to keep and bear arms. And the faster they can try to make us all give up, give in, or lock us up, the better in their mind. So I just want to be very clear on this. This is not a policy. This is not a policy disagreement between us and Michael. I almost said Bloomberg. That's fine too. We all know Bloomberg's funded it. It's not a policy disagreement between us and Governor Cuomo. It's not a lack of knowledge. These people hate you. These people hate you. They want to destroy our freedoms. They want to permanently sever the bond between gun owners and the next generation coming behind us. They are hoping to destroy our heritage of freedom and to convince all of us to throw up our hands and give up and give them what they want. And I don't know about you guys, but our organization's philosophy is very simple. Absolutely hell no Under no circumstances, we will never give in to your radical, socialist, psychotic agenda items. And guys, if you agree, take a moment. We have a link pinned in the comments section. It is your pre-written email campaign helping us to oppose this legislation right now in Albany. There are 3 different bills that are working at right now in Albany, and this email campaign addresses all of them. Ortiz's bill, again, is Assembly Bill number 3152. Levine's bill, Assemblyman Levine's bill, is 9945, and Senator Kaplan's bill is I missed my page here. Senator Kaplan's bill is S7762. All of these bills have varying nuances, but at the end of the day, this is about trying to make it a criminal offense for you to possess, and God forbid you want to make an 80% lower firearm for one of your children or a grandchild or one of your lifelong friends. These bills would make you a felon if you were to sell or to give or to transfer one of those to your family or to a friend. It is all about demonizing gun owners and trying to make us give up and give in. And guys, we cannot do that. So take a moment, fire off your email, and make sure that your assemblyman, that your senator knows where you stand on this issue. I want to be kind of clear on this. For some gun owners, you might not care about 80% lowers. You might not have ever heard about an 80% lower. You might not even sure what we're talking about right now. But that doesn't matter, because this is a war on every gun owner. This is just one more accessory they're trying to come after. It's one more right they're trying to take away. It's one more tool they're trying to pass to be able to harass and criminalize the actions of law-abiding gun owners in New York State. So again, I don't care if you don't use 80% lowers. I don't care if you don't like 80% lowers. We have to stand together and make our voices heard and tell them you will remember their votes on these bills come election time. You will remember their votes. Make sure they know that. Folks, I want to give you some encouragement and something to think about. You know, it's election year. Everybody knows that, right? That's not new. I realize that. But understand that there are five of Cuomo's Democrat senators, 5 of them right now in Albany. I'm reading this one second once. Read some of the comments. There are 5 senators, Democrat senators in Albany, who won their re-election or their election in 2018 in seats that Donald Trump carried in 2016. Many of these people could possibly be dead men and women walking. This is our time as gun owners to hold these people accountable. This is our time to push back and remind them that there is a price to be paid for betraying our gun rights in New York State. If we do not do that, especially this year in 2020 with President Trump on the ballot, if we're not going to do it this year, then when? This is our time. This is our time to make this fight happen. Anthony says, I'm not hearing anything from the NRA lately. Well, Anthony, I'll tell you what's going on, man. I'll tell you what's going on. When it comes to, state politics, everybody knows. Everybody knows. You guys know it. The anti-gunners in Albany know it. The pro-gun lawmakers in Albany know it. Everybody knows what's going on. The NRA has taken a monstrous amount of money out of New York State over the years. A fortune has been given to them by gun owners in New York State. And as everybody in Albany knows, they have been totally MIA in Albany for a very long time. They're just not there. They're not there. Sure, maybe they do the orange postcard every couple of years in some races. That's so 1990s of them. They are not at the Capitol. They are not pushing back. They are not fighting back against Cuomo. They're not giving you guys the action items you need to take action in defense of your gun rights. And I want to go on beyond that for a minute to answer Anthony's question here, Anthony. You know, when it comes to their state affiliate, the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association, I want to address that for a minute, because when the gun grabbers unleashed this bill, this agenda item, late last year, when they first unleashed their bill proposal on this, do you want to know who they were quoting in their bill memo? Do you want to know who they were quoting in all of their press releases and all of their public documents? They weren't quoting Michael Bloomberg. They weren't quoting Everytown for Gun Safety. They weren't quoting the governor's office. Any guesses? When these crazy America-hating socialist leftist nut jobs first unveiled this bill late last year, they were quoting from the Rifle and Pistol Association's Tom King, who said that these firearms are the ones that are used by criminals. And he made it very clear, this became a big news story, that he was not in favor of these 80% lower firearms. He made it very clear that this is a good thing for Cuomo to go after these firearms. And so, just to be clear on this, when our enemies in Albany needed moral support, when they introduced this bill, they got it from the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association. If that doesn't make you burn, I don't know what will. This is why we need to redo the entire fight for gun rights in New York State. This is why the New York State Firearms Association exists. We are done with these games. We are done allowing our gun rights to be negotiated away from us by so-called these pro-gun organizations. We're done giving money to national organizations that never set foot in the state capitol. And we're just done. We're done playing these games. And we're especially done with gun rights organizations that don't do anything to speak of when it comes to fighting back against vulnerable incumbent gun grabbers at election time. No organization should dare to ask gun owners for resources, for money, if they're not going to fight with that in Albany during session and during the election season. And we are and will be doing both. We are already getting prepared for the election season later on this fall. We are already aware of the targeted map in the races that are going to be in play. We are already making preparations to survey all the candidates going to be running for office in this year's election cycle to make sure that you guys have the information you need to be able to make informed decisions. We're going to push back again. We're going to make these people pay a price again. It hasn't happened in a long time. And because of that, they have been allowed to run wild. They've been allowed to run wild. And that's why we have to fight back. And we're going to address that, guys, later on this year in the fall. So we need your support. We need you guys to be involved in this fight. Again, the link is above this video or below. Depends on where you're watching right now. All you have to do is take a couple of seconds and fire off your email to your lawmakers. Just so you know, this email is a couple different ones there, but it's pre-written. You don't have to figure out what you want to say. All you have to do is prepare the email. If you want to modify it, modify it. If you want to hit send, all you got to do is just type in your address so the system knows which lawmaker is yours and hit send. And it's an automatic process. It will take seconds and it's done. And when that part's done, you're going to have the option, guys, if you would like, to call your assemblyman, call your senator. All you have to do is push the start call button, and then it's going to give you, and our computer system will call you and give you a welcome message. It's going to come from me, as a matter of fact, and it's going to give you the option to press 1 for your assemblyman, press 2 for your senator, and he'll connect with you automatically. It's an automated process. And what's cool is that if you want to use our phone script to tell, if you want to use our script, you can read it out loud verbatim to the staff members, and there's no work you have to do there either besides hit the button and read off the script. And guys, we also have automated programs via Twitter. So it's all online, guys. Take a moment to make your voice heard. Fire off those emails. And if you're not a member of this organization, guys, it's time to get involved. We have a link there for that as well. The link is right there. The memberships are $35 and up. They come with free t-shirts. You've got decals. You've got membership cards. All kinds of stuff comes in your new member packet. But we need you to be involved in this fight so that you're A, engaged in this battle again, and B, so we have the resources we need to fight back in Albany. So take a moment, guys. If you're not a member, go right there. Otherwise, you go to our micro website. It's joinnysfa.com. Joinnysfa.com to get involved in this fight. We usually ship out shirts every 2-3 weeks. We always run a little bit behind schedule because it takes time to get all of our volunteers assembled to get out the membership packets. So give us some time on that, especially right now during session. So guys, more to come. It's going to be a big week next week in the Capitol. Should be some big announcements coming out next week, so stay tuned to our Facebook page. If you are not receiving emails, however, from us, you want to be getting those as well so you know what's happening in real time. To sign up for those, totally free of charge. Just go to nysfaupdates.com. That's nysfaupdates.com. You can opt in right there for our emails. You can opt in to receive text messages. It's all right there. If you don't opt in, we can't get you the information that you need to be involved in this fight. So take a moment, go there, get signed up. More to come, guys. Don't forget, this is not a disagreement over policy. Andrew Cuomo knows that making you a criminal for owning and working on an 80% lower firearm won't do anything to stop crime. He knows that. He doesn't care. That's not the point. He hates you. He hates gun owners. He doesn't like this country. He's made that very clear. And he's out to stab us in the back, guys. Make your voice heard. Fire off your emails and more to come. You guys have a great day.